This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like to dance. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll it round. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low. Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop
my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash.
he did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard
He
smash.
did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash.
They did the monster
The
mash.
monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sound. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hound. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker
They
Five.
played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster
The
mash.
monster mash.
And it's a graveyard
It's
smash.
now the mash.
It's caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool, Drac's a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent
Then
you.
you can mash.
Then you can monster
The
mash,
monster mash.
and you my graveyard
Then you
smash.
can mash.
You'll catch on in a flash,
Then you can mash.
then you can monster mash. You impetuous young boy. Mash good.
All right, Chad, how we doing tonight? How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Little Halloween song there. Little Halloween song. Kind of, I set aside 3 songs to start a show. And fuck it, I'll just play copyrighted songs. I'm not monetized. I mean, I'm a little worried that they might, shut the stream down when I wait to start. Or they'll block it or something afterwards. But fuck it. Not even that worried about it. Who cares? Y'all want to support the show? You hit up streamlabs.com/thebeckloff, paypal.me/thebeckloff. And that's how you support the show. We're not getting YouTube ads. We don't have YouTube super chats even. So fuck it. I'll play copyrighted shit. Suck my dick. We played Ooh Ah just a little bit by Gina G. The Dip by Freak Nasty. And Bobby Pickett's Monster Mash. So there you go, chat. Those of you playing at home, if you want to look that shit up, that's what we played. Let's see. Fuck it, let's go. Exactly. NC Clark, good to see you in the chat. Good to see you. NC Clark has probably the most underrated channel on this entire website. Somebody in the chat says, at this point, if I see the celebrity vote video, I'm going to smash my computer. Then again, I like Sarah Silverman's yammers. I mean, maybe I'd like them, I don't know, circa 2003 or some shit like that. I don't know about right now. Your statement about things not shifting but being violently pushed right-wing is more true this election. Yeah, I really think a lot of people are pushing that direction. And I think a lot of them are very, very quiet about it. But I don't. I mean, like I said, I'm a little worried about the mail-in fraud. They definitely want to steal it, but I'm not worried about where the actual vote is. Not in the least. Let's see. What are we going to do tonight, chat? what are we gonna do tonight? You know, I have tonight off from work. I had to do some physical therapy. Fucking, still a little injured from my car accident, and do some physical. And I've never really done physical therapy before. It's weird. You feel both worse and better afterwards. It's kind of like working out, which I have not done enough of in my lifetime, but I have done some. But it's not. It's a bit more intense than that. Fucking stretch. Have me in some machine to fucking stretch my neck. Fucking. The girl was all like, okay, she handed me one of those little buttons on a wire. She's like, press this if it gets too bad. And I'm like, gotcha, like a safe word. I am getting old, yes. NC Clark says her kids are sleeping. She can finally listen to her stream. Well, she's Hispanic, so she probably has like 40 kids, right? I'm not sure. I just I don't want to belittle your culture there, but I was to understand that's how Hispanics roll. Without getting political, Erica is way prettier than Misty. Changed my mind. I don't know about that, chat. I don't know about that. I think you have some serious taste problems there. Oh, so what do we want to watch? We want to watch some stuff, but what do we want to watch? Some people are trying to get me to watch some Owen Benjamin. I don't know about that, chat. Owen Benjamin does really, really piss me off. Oh, you know what? Where is it? I want to watch some MovieBob, or maybe even just read some MovieBob. Hang on a second. Oh, MovieBob's blog. Let's see. Now, he mostly just posts link to his videos at this point, but there's some old shit on his blog. I want to see if I can find. Let's see if I can find it. That's not it. By the way, I'm on MovieBob's blog right now. I was trying to find some articles somebody had mentioned. I, of course, didn't do any fucking show prep because I'm a lazy piece of shit. This is the About Me on MovieBob's blog. Go to moviebob.blogspot.com, by the way, if you want to see this for yourself. MovieBob is a part-time independent filmmaker, part-time amateur film critic, and full-time movie geek. He is heterosexual, a Pisces. I don't even know what zodiac sign I am. I'm March 10th. What sign is that? I think that's Pisces. I don't really pay attention to zodiac signs because they're fucking gay and stupid, but I think I might be the same sign as MovieBob. Oh no. And a severely lapsed Catholic. Of course. Of fucking course. Yet another subversive religious minority in this country. He is a tireless enemy of censorship. MovieBob is a tireless enemy of censorship. Considers his personal politics libertine, and enjoys acting as a full-time irritant to overly serious people of all political stripes. None of that is true. I guess maybe the Pisces and severely lapsed Catholic part is true. Possibly the heterosexual part. But none of the rest of that is true. I am a Pisces. Okay, chat. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And Clark says, wrong, she has 45 kids. Okay. 45 kids are out there. Yeah, Hispanics. Don't they have them like 6 at a time, like puppies, like dogs? tireless butt buddy of censorship. That's correct, chat. He's a tireless enemy of exercise. That's right. That's right. Somebody in the chat asked if anyone signed up for Aaron Clary's course on minimalism. I don't know. I don't think my my referral link is any good. I don't think anybody picked up on that. So I didn't get the sweet fucking referral money. I didn't think I would. I really didn't think I would. I just I didn't believe. I mean, I have a small audience anyways, and I didn't believe anybody in this small, little intimate gathering I call an audience. I didn't believe anybody was going to be particularly interested in it. But hey, I figured why not? I'll try, because would have been a sweet referral bonus. Yeah. And fuck it, I'm a whore. Sanga Chief in the chat. Sanga Chief, I know you want me to watch that. I know you want me to watch that Owen Benjamin video. It's gonna light me the fuck up though. So just, you gotta cough up some shekels for that. You gotta cough up some shekels for that one. We were watching MovieBob's Game Overeater episode 100, and we had to stop because he was getting to his Gamergate rant, and I just don't want to. I don't want to go down that road again. Let's not. Let's not on that one. So we had to stop. We're gonna go over to Amazon. We're gonna check out MovieBob's books. Because I think you can read the first couple pages of these. Let's see. Oh my god, he has a lot of these. God damn. And not just the Mario 3 book. He has... Holy crap, he... Some 1-star reviews here. Good god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books. Let's see. We're going to go to look inside. We want to take a look at some of MovieBob's books, guys. The stream is not sponsored by MovieBob's books. That's right, Chad. Aaron Clary's minimalist class is a very low cost. I know you're all just as shocked as I am by how wonderfully affordable that class is. I know. I was shocked too. I was shocked too. Oh. But we're not talking about Aaron Clary right now. Friend of the show, friend of me, good guy. Check out assholeconsulting.com. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about MovieBob, okay? We're talking about the Ubermensch MovieBob. Someone in the chat says the only movie that Bob made was a snuff film of the neighborhood's cat. Is it really a snuff film though when he's eating it? I don't. All right, so we're gonna take a look at some of these books, chat. We're gonna broaden our mind, as the Joker once said. That's right, we're Joker posting. All right, so let's get into Windows capture here. So we're on Amazon. Move this a little to the center. So we're in the look inside, the little preview of MovieBob's book here. This book is called Game Overthinker and Beyond: The Video Game Writing of Bob Chipman. This is a classic Game Overthinker transcripts. It's just a scripster itself. Retro game appreciation, gamer culture. Fucking, can I get a rise up, chat? Controversial columns and more. by Bob Chipman. All right, so acknowledgments. I owe my success, which includes the opportunity to write these pieces in the first place, and the ability to share them with you again. To many fine people who've enabling is a wonderful term for that, enabled my career to this point. Stuttering Craig Skidimess of Screw Attack and Full Screen. I don't know who that is, but then again, I don't really watch Screw Attack. Who was among the first to discover my work. Russ Pitts, who first reached out to me about reviewing movies professionally. And Susan Arendt, who was the original editor of a great deal of the work included here. I don't think she wants that. I've seen the editing skills of MovieBob's work. I don't think she wants that acknowledgement. I offer them all my sincerest thanks for their help, encouragement, and most of all, their friendship. This book is dedicated to my parents, Patricia and Peter Chipman. The original pieces contained in this volume are culled from a variety of sources. The majority originated on The Escapist, escapistmagazine.com, and the MovieBob blog, MovieBob.blogspot.com. If you're reading a book that's just a bunch of shit, somebody pulled off their blog spot, and they didn't even polish it up. Like, when I was writing for Reaction, and by the way, I'm mildly embarrassed I used to write for Reaction, but when I was getting paid for those. And I freely admit, there were a few articles I phoned in. It's like, shit, I gotta write a review of something. And I just took something I had reviewed on my blog years before, but I used that as the skeleton to write an article. You know what I mean? Like, I remastered it, as we say in the media industry. But, I rewrote it just using the original blog post as an outline. I didn't just copy and paste the fucking blog post and send it into Forney to edit. Like, there you go. Where's my $10? Which, by the way, we were only paid $10 per article. So here's what we have in this wonderful book. This wonderful, wonderful book. Let's see. So we have chapters A Matter of Character on Bad and Modernized Character Designs, Super Mario and the Sacred Feminine, Reconsidering the Cultural Assumptions about Princess Peach. That's right, Jet. Super Mario and the Sacred Feminine, Reconsidering the Cultural Assumptions about Princess Peach. There was a thing in this, in these fucking, I'll admit it, shitty fucking manosphere circles a little while ago. Maybe it still exists. I think he sponsored my show at one point, too. Academic composition, where you could pay people to write fucking articles for you for college papers and shit. And I knew guys that were doing that, like, were writing the articles for that service. I'm not going to name names, but I knew guys that were doing it. And one guy told me that he just bullshitted a bunch of garbage about how Star Wars promotes slavery because the droids are clearly sentient and everyone treats them like property. And he's like, this was just bullshit that I farted out, that just full of a bunch of liberal horse shit that I knew the professor would like. And the person got like a good grade on it, too. So, I'm sorry. Other things. Kirby Confession. Gaming blind spots and how to overcome this. I imagine this is just him talking about he never played the Kirby games as a kid because it was a little pink puffball and he thought it was gay. Which, I'll admit, I was in the same boat. I never played the Kirby games because I thought, oh, that looks gay. And you know what? I played them as an adult, and they're fucking fantastic games. They're a lot of fun. But when you're a kid, you're fucking sensitive to that kind of shit. Some people never get over that sensitivity to perceptions, and they're just forever trapped in that kind of mode. We've covered a lot of those people on here. The end of the Wii as we know it in defense of casual gamers. The psychology of Nintendo fans, understanding classic gaming's most devoted fan base, not a review of GTA 4, watching a phenomenon from the outside. Of course you've never played GTA. Can it happen to us? The 90s comic book crash and how it's repeating in gaming. Sonic in Crisis. Jeez. Reality sucks. Getting past modern gaming's realism obsession. Oh boy. This looks like a lot of bullshit. Let's see what we got here. We'll read the introduction. The writing in this volume represents some of the earliest attempts I ever made at putting my work in front of the public. Elsewhere in the anthology, I've described the unique position I found myself in during my longest, so far, period of regular employment as a writer in being a film critic for an outlet that focused predominantly on video games, The Escapist. But in fact, I've been a gamer at least as long, if not longer, than I've been knowledgeable / invested enough in film to write about it. I literally can't remember when I first encountered video games. They were always there in the ether of my life, but I remember exactly where I was when I first saw Super Mario Brothers running on an NES and knew my life wasn't going to be the same from that point on. Bob, you were probably like 5 when you first saw that. You didn't know shit. All right? But yeah, you probably liked it. I liked it too when I first saw it. I was like, oh, Mario's cool. I've been a fan of things before I became one of other things. Wait. I've been a fan of... Am I reading this wrong or is this wrong? I've been a fan of things before I became one of other things after. But, okay, that's just kind of awkward, but I get what he's saying. But gaming was the first thing that I loved, that I really decided to dig in deep on in terms of understanding it. I wanted to know the canon of the games I was playing, the names of the people created them, how they worked, where they come from, etc. Eventually, starting in my early teens, I was inclined to apply that same level of commitment to film, which led me to my true calling, but gaming is always going to be a vital part of my life, or at least I hope it will. So when it came time to first put myself out there in the world of web video, it felt pretty natural to me to make my first real production a show about games. The Game Overthinker, and of everything I've done, it's probably the closest to my heart. There was very little compromising. I largely answered only to myself, and it was the first time someone, Craig Skitsmith and the guys at Screw Attack specifically, found something of mine and told me it was worth something and they wanted to be a part of it. That success, that really just reads like that was the first time he ever got any real affirmation. I mean, I could be reading too much into that, but that's like the subtext I get. That success led me to put movie content up on the same platforms, which in turn led to me getting hired as a film critic, which led to pretty much the rest of this anthology. So when it came time to collect my video game writing, to date at least, there was no question. It had to be Game Overthinker branded. And there had to be episode transcripts in it. Or you could, I don't know, write a fucking book if you're going to put a book out there. That's just my thought. That's just my... Like, again, even use the fucking... You know, even use your episodes as fucking templates. But, like, you notice when a movie comes out and then there's, like, a book that's, like, a novelization of that movie? I don't know if you've ever read any of those before, Chad. I've read a couple back in the day. But they don't just fucking take the script of the movie and just shove it in a book. There you go, fuck you. Somebody actually rewrites it from the ground up to make it into a book. My only regret is that I wasn't able to include all of them, largely because being spoken word videos with narrative and performance aspect, that making them suitable for transcripting in a book otherwise traditional essays. Also because the topics and tenor of many episodes have become dated or unusable in other ways. Is that why? Overthinker transcripts in this volume include the first episode ever, A Matter of Character, plus popular episodes like The Big Lie, The Psychology of a Nintendo Fan, Sonic in Crisis, The Underappreciation of Captain N. Lord, his fucking obsession with Captain N was garbage. Okay, now look, I liked Captain N when it was on. I was a kid when Captain N was on the TV box. And I liked it. I didn't like it as much as something like the Mario cartoon. I didn't like it as much as the Zelda cartoon. But I did like it. That said, though, it's garbage. It is fucking garbage. All right? Like, you ever see... some of you are too young, and you don't know. But, okay, let's talk about Captain N. Captain N is a cartoon about some teenager and his dog who gets sucked into his Nintendo. And they go through magical video game land with a hodgepodge of fucking video game characters, all of whom had games available in the Nintendo Entertainment System. And they just do shit. They just go on adventures and bullshit like that. And then there was a group of bad guys, and it was comprised of some fucking characters from games. Like, there was one of the boxers from Punch-Out and fucking Mother Brain and shit like that. And you wouldn't know, looking at these character designs, that they are meant to be any of these characters. Like Mega Man and Simon from Castlevania in this cartoon. If you just looked at a screenshot from this cartoon, you wouldn't fucking know it. Okay, because none of them looked like anything like the cartoon. Or the games. Like, just not at all. Alright? It was fucking terrible. And it was a commercial. It was a fucking commercial. And look, a lot of these cartoons were when you get right down to it. You know, at least at the top levels, that's what the executives considered it as. You know, cartoons would be canceled back in the day, even if the ratings were really good, if the toys weren't selling enough. Because they were considered commercials for toys in many cases. And in this case, commercials for games. But despite that, there were often a lot of creative and talented people that made really special things out of them. That's not the case with Captain N. Now, if I was... I don't really watch TV anymore. All I have is streaming services. But back in the day, if I was flipping through the channels and I would have come across a rerun of Captain N, I probably would have stayed on it for a couple of minutes and go, oh shit, I remember this. And then moved on. Because it was garbage. Okay? There's something wrong with MovieBob in this regard. There's something really fucking... There's something about him with, like, Nintendo and Mario and shit where it's just... It's almost like Chris Chan with Sonic. You know? Buddy Smith says, the Captain N comic was better than the cartoon. Interestingly enough, I know Valiant published the Nintendo comics back in the day. And they were all based on the cartoons. There were Zelda ones, there were Mario ones, and there was Captain N ones. And then there was some just oddball Nintendo ones that weren't really... that were their own thing. But they were all based on the cartoons. Like, they use the exact same art style as the cartoons. They use the same kind of setup. That said, though, they were all better written than the cartoons. I have, like, a Best of Mario collection of the old Valiant comics. And, you know, I went through and read... And, look, again, the Mario cartoon was kind of trash, too, by the way. But it was... the comic was better written. But that's not all. A selection of my game-related writing from The Escapist. My personal blog and other sources are included as well. Charting a course through almost a decade of games which saw some of the most tumultuous changes the industry had ever discovered. Which is another way of saying a lot of articles about the Wii phenomenon, of course. The casual hardcore war, and yes, selected pieces that dealt with the Gamergate debacle. The Goobergaters. Also included are 5 great movies about video games. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Every effort has been made to get these pieces properly organized, cleaned up, and made as readable as possible, both for old... Yeah, I doubt that, Bob. I doubt that. You know what, chat? You know what I kind of feel like checking out real quick? We're probably going to watch some MovieBob videos. Let's was talking about the Mario show. The one really cool thing about the Mario show, and it didn't even always have this. When the Mario show first came out, it was called the Mario Super Show, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I'm sorry, and it was this weird amalgamation of being based on like the first two games. Like there would be enemies from Mario 2 included, but there wasn't Wart. There was just Koopa. I'm sorry, Bowser, but they called him King Koopa. And it's weird. His design was almost this weird combination of Wart and Bowser. They kind of split the difference. And that's the design he'd keep throughout the show. But then like Mario 3 came out and it became a Mario 3 show, having the nonsensical title of The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3. And then it became a Mario World show when that came out. But what was cool about the Mario show originally is there were these live action segments that used to bookend it, right? And we're going to watch one of them right now. Because they were just awesome. And I know some of you know this. You know, there's been memes about the guy that played Mario, you know, his drug commercial and shit. You'll go to hell before you die and all this other stuff. But we're going to watch this anyways. Because it just, you know, cleanse the palate a little bit from Bob. Okay. Let's see. That's right, Paisanos. We're gonna watch some Mario Super Show here.
Mario, I'm making Mama's meatball and zucchini recipe here. Wanna have an office serve?
What? The live action Mario movie should have been these guys. That would have been amazing. And I also love just the blatant fucking Italian stereotypes in this show. Like, everything about fucking spaghetti and shit.
2 or 28, would you?
Look in Mama's recipe book. I'm watching Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Hey, look, I can't do that, Mario. This recipe requires split-second timing. Would you be a person and read it to me, please? Thank you very much. You're a very nice guy.
Okay, pay attention.
All right.
It says, add hair from a witch's wart. Add a dash of powdered toad and a couple of bat's tongues, and you got it.
Got what?
The curse of Salerno. It turns anyone who tastes it into a foaming at the mouth, brainless zombie. Oh no! Oh, this is not the Mama's Book of Recipes. It's the Book of Curses. I got the wrong book.
Which you just have on your coffee table, by the way. And that's right, chat. This is actually probably 80s at this point. I imagine this was like 89, 88 maybe. But yes, the 80s and 90s were just a giant fucking commercial. That's right, chat.
This is Elvira calling live from Brooklyn.
By the way, I love this. I love this. This is the, you want to know what the 80s and the 90s were, chat. This is the 80s and 90s. This was a kid's show, okay, that would be on at like 3 in the afternoon when you get home from school. And here's Elvira with her big old titties hanging out. On a kid's show. Fuck it. It's just, I love it.
You can call that live. So, give me a ring. Then we'll settle down.
Well, if anyone can help, Elvira can.
Oh, joy. There's my first phone call now. Hello?
Help! Help!
I don't see what the problem is. You can get a nice job at the post office.
Well, I feel kind of responsible. I mean, I gave him the wrong recipe. Can you change him back, Elvira?
Well, I'm a little rusty, but I'll give it my best shot. There's no place like home. There's no place like
By the way, Elvira's a natural redhead and still looks good, and she's like fucking 60.
home. Whoa, feeling a little bit like Dorothy. Or the Tin Man, anyway.
This is amazing. This is a fucking kid's show. I love it. This is a fucking kid's show. You can't do that now. You're not allowed to do that now. You can show all sorts of degenerate, fucked up sexual habits in kids show. You can have a kids show all about fucking trannies and shit like that. That's okay in a kids show these days. You know, fucking Steven Universe with fucking fat lesbians and shit. That's fine. But you can't have Elvira with her glorious, life-affirming titties hanging half out. Because that's just no good. That apparently is no fucking good anymore. Oh man, it was the same with the fucking Ninja Turtles. April had her fucking titties hanging half out in every episode. She had a fucking yellow jumpsuit. It just zippered all the way down, basically like that. And you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Okay, here goes. Okay, before you turn to something worse, let the zombie curse reverse. Cha-cha-cha. Oh, I didn't know you had a Band-Aid for a brother.
Luigi! Are you in there? Could you try again, please?
Well, I told you I was a little rusty. Luigi, Mummy, lose your rap, turn back into a blithering sap.
The 80s were a special time. The 90s too. That's right, Chad. I hate current year too. You could not show Elvira with her titties hanging out in a kid's show anymore. You couldn't do it. You're not allowed. Instead, you gotta, like, I don't know, show some stunning and brave tranny or something. Because it's, in some ways, we're, like, more Puritan, but in, like, even worse ways. Like, oh, Lordy Chad. I don't know. It's right. Gibdo Luigi. So let's see. All right. So we cleansed the palate a bit from MovieBob's book. Let's see if we can find MovieBob's video on. Oh, you know what? If we're gonna watch MovieBob, we gotta watch. We watched the episode 100 a little bit, but we gotta watch the other quintessential MovieBob fucking video. So this is the Game Overeater, episode 100.
A year ago, I came before you in the flesh to tell you something you wanted to hear.
A whole lot of flesh.
That the enemies of gaming were wrong, that we were not responsible for all the evils they blamed on us, and that it was a fight we could win.
Well, here I am again. And once again, I've got something to tell you. But this time, it's something I know you don't want to hear. It's
fucking Wii boat in his hand. I mean, I know this is when the Wii was current and all, but fucking hell. It's fucking hell.
something I don't like saying, but it's something that needs to be said, and I've never been shy about saying what was on my mind before.
It's certainly not something I like saying.
I fully expect that this video will divide people, piss people off, and will very likely lose me more than a few fans.
Black has a slimming effect. A little bit. A little bit there, Bob. That's right, chat. We're going to be eating baby carrots with Bob. Look at the fucking rape dungeon he's filming in. Why would you film there? Why would you film? It's just the most depressing, unfinished basement you could possibly fucking find. Are we watching the Game Overeater, an episode of Law and Order over here? How many dead hookers do you think are in that basement, chat? How many to unlock an achievement?
But I've never been shy about saying what was on my mind before, and it would be wrong to start now. As gamers, we're used to being thought of as the problem, and when not us, the games we play. And as such, we're used to being defensive about it. We're used to telling our critics off, arguing the point, pleading our case. And we're used to being right, because usually we are.
But not always. What do we do then? What do we do when the critics are right? What do we do?
Safety is cool. You know what's not cool, though? A rape dungeon, Bob. Like, why? Is this the dungeon of the kink.com mansion? Is that where this is? John, I'm sad to say is a building I recognize.
When they have a point? What do we do when we are the problem?
And make no mistake, we are the problem a lot more than we like to admit. Does the media stereotype gamers? Yes, but it takes two to make that sort of thing work. Stereotypes have to be based on something. If we didn't conform to them, they wouldn't stick.
Fucking based. I just want you to remember what MovieBob, what SJW MovieBob said. Stereotypes have to be based on something. If people didn't conform to them, they wouldn't stick. Stereotypes have to be based on something. People didn't conform to them, they wouldn't stick. There are no dead hookers in his basement because they wouldn't take payments in amiibos. Oh, come on. We all know Bob wouldn't part with his amiibos. Let's be serious here.
The common stereotype of gamers is that we're schlubby, socially inept, have bad manners, and an even worse grasp of reality versus fantasy.
Is that so, Bob? Is that so, Bob? You are, of course, none of these things, right?
How do we counter this? How do we show people that this isn't the case?
Well, we could stop doing all that stuff, for one thing.
Is that so, Bob? We could stop doing all those stuff. Which is why you, since 2011, you improved your social skills and your manners. And your physical fitness. And your grasp on reality. Those things have all significantly improved with you since 2011, correct?
It's time to face some hard truth of our own, guys. Just because gamers aren't the pathetic life forms the media portrays us as doesn't mean we can't stand to get better. We need to improve. We need to evolve. So let's build a better gamer.
Now, some of this is going to be just practical advice, some of it's going to be behavioral, and a lot of it is going to be me using my platform to bitch about subsets of gamer culture that piss me off. I'm breaking this into 3 segments: lifestyle, culture, and behavior. Not all of this will apply to all gamers, but I'm asking that we all keep an open mind. So now, without wasting any more time...
No one has more of an open mind than Bob Chipman.
Okay, this one is actually going to be a lot shorter than I originally planned, because while I was putting things together, Brian Schmoyer's video, The Only Thing I Know, came out and said a lot of what needed to be said better than I could have. So my first piece of advice here is to go and watch that if you haven't already. And let me give Brian a big personal shout out for it. Do I agree with everything he had to say? Not quite, but even still, that took some serious balls to put out there in this medium, so good on you, sir.
The fact is, guys, the problem with the gaming lifestyle is that it's not a lifestyle. It's a hobby. If you're...
I like him walking into the frame as, like, you know, as he's talking to us and all. This feels like a video that you'd watch when you start a new job. And the guy's like, the fact is, guys, safety is really cool. Safety is job 1 here at the Box Factory. even though it's not. My box factory has a terrible fucking safety record between you and me, Chad. Between you and me, absolutely horrendous. I'm mildly. I fear for my life. You should all send me more shekels, so I don't have to go back there. Send me 1,000,000 shekels. So he says, didn't he try to marinate chicken in Mountain Dew? I think you're thinking of Boogie. I think Boogie did that. I don't think Bob did that because Bob doesn't get the expensive brand sodas. He would have tried to marinate it in like Mountain Thunder or something like that. Or what's the ghetto brand of Mountain Dew? I don't know. I don't drink ghetto I don't drink Mountain Dew, to be honest. Mountain Dew tastes like shit. I'm sorry. Unpopular opinion time, guys. Mountain Dew's fucking garbage. My fat ass likes soda a lot more than I'm willing to admit. In fact, I'm having a little Pepsi and Captain right now. But no, it's garbage. Okay, if you're a grown ass man who's still drinking Mountain Dew, you're wrong. You're just wrong. I want you to know that about yourself. Is it Mountain Thunder? Is that what it is? Is that the store brand version? But yeah, not only am I not drinking Mountain Dew, I'm sure as fuck not drinking the store brand version. It tastes the same. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. Just on a rant, like store brand shit, most of the time, does not taste the fucking same. Especially sodas. I've never had a store brand soda that tastes the same. Alright? It just doesn't. You're fucking fooling yourself. That's saving that 50 cents a fucking can. Or 50, I don't know what the fuck you save for it. I don't fucking know. But you're fooling yourself. Or you get what you pay for.
Experiencing gaming on a level that constitutes a lifestyle, and you're not, say, getting paid to do it, you're doing it wrong. As we've talked about before, video games are toys.
Okay, I kind of agree with Bob in this, in that, and I don't see it quite as much now, but I knew a lot. Look, video gaming is a very expensive, and it's a very time-consuming hobby. So for a lot of guys, it does sort of become the one thing they're really into, because they don't have the time or the money to be in anything else. And I'm very glad I spent a lot of my formative years away from gaming. Like, I loved it as a kid. You know, I had my NES, I had my Game Boy, Game Gear, and I had a Sega Genesis as a kid. But as a teenager, my dad didn't buy me video games. He was a boomer that hated them. I got like maybe a couple on the PC, but by and large, I never owned another video game system till like 2005 when I got a Sega Genesis again. A girlfriend at the time got it for me off eBay because I was talking about how I wanted one again, and I got a PS2. But I'm kind of glad I spent a lot of my teenage years away from it because, yeah, I've seen it consume people. I really have. I've seen it become the one and only thing a guy is interested in, and then I've seen it also just fucking erode the shit out of people's attention spans.
All of them. And what is a toy for? To amuse yourself, preferably in between responsibilities and or the more important stuff in your day once it's done.
The more important stuff in your day. By the way, MovieBob... Oh man, the Mario 3 McDonald's toys. That takes me back. By the way, MovieBob left his grandmother's, who supposedly he loved very deeply, his grandmother's funeral early to go home and play Mario. So just throwing that out there.
Now, that doesn't mean that the occasional marathon session can't be fun or that we all haven't had a game that we just had to finish and we made time for it, but if that describes the rule in your gaming life rather than the exception, you probably need to rethink your priorities.
Well, that's all I have to say about the philosophical side of the gamer lifestyle. Now, let's talk about the physical.
Here's the rub. Unless you're playing Wii Sports, Wii Fit...
By the way, somebody in the chat says Super Nintendo greater than Sega Genesis. That is the most basic bitch take you could possibly have. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. All right? just so we're clear. How out of breath did Bob get from yelling? Well, there's a lot of takes on there. Somebody says I should try SodaStream. No, what my fat ass should do, if we're going to be perfectly honest, is just not drink so fucking much soda. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. You know, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. Don't bullshit me.
DDR or Tony Hawk Rye. I'm sorry, I can't even pretend to say that with a straight face. But yeah, aside from those, gaming is a sedentary activity, meaning you don't have to move much. Too much of that is not good for your body. Now
Is
let's
that
pause
so,
while
Bob?
everybody jumps down my throat with, oh yeah, well you could say the same thing about reading. And you know what? You're right. And you know what else? That'll be a great conversation to have when there's near epidemic levels of children and teenagers who are caught reading too many books. Seriously, guys, it's time to stop pretending like that's some kind of profound argument. Until kids start showing up late for school and the excuse is, oh, dude, I was totally finishing up the complete Dostoevsky, you and I both know that line is full of shit.
God, he's such a basic bitch. He's such a basic bitch. Like, he throws out things that are very basic bitch, but he throws out things that sound smart to basic bitches. You know what I mean? Like, it's the left-wing arena over here, where he says shit because he thinks you will think he is smart for saying it.
Shit. Gaming's natural inertia is compounded even more today, since so much of the rest of our lives are also sedentary. Let's be frank, the manufacturing sector is largely vanishing from the developed West and the United States in particular. More and more jobs every day are stationary and computer-based. It's not unusual for the average gamer to be sitting down for a third or more of their day at work, then sitting down even more to game. And if you're also in school, forget about it. That's just more sitting. Now, since most of us aren't stupid, I don't need to spell out that the cure for most of this is to exercise more. Now, joining a gym is probably the best course of action, obviously, but that can be expensive unless your place of business and or school has one which you can use, in which case you should probably do that. Even just basic stuff is better than nothing. Hit a treadmill, box, bike, elliptical, free weights, do it up.
It's Bob's telling you to do this, by the way, Chad. Bob's telling you to do this. Bob Tibman is telling you to go work out.
Heck, is there a beach, lake, or pool in your area? Go there. Swimming is one of the best overall exercises you can do. And that's just...
Especially when you're Bob and you're just naturally very buoyant. Yes, I imagine Bob would swim a lot since he has the body of a fucking sea mammal.
The fitness-specific stuff. There's a lot you can do to offset the inertia of gaming just by changing up your daily routine. Ask yourself, how many places do you go that you don't need to drive, bus, or take a taxi to in your day-to-day life? Maybe try walking to those, or use a bike if you've got one, or a skateboard if you know how.
Uh-oh, we got an ad.
The most important issue.
We're going to put that on mute. It's a Trump ad. We like Trump here, but we're still going to put it on mute. Is that sponsoring me? It's funny, though, that Trump is... We're watching a MovieBob video and we get a Trump ad. That's kind of funny.
You need to drive to. Instead of parking right up front, park further back and add some walking to the errand. Take the stairs.
What do you want to bet, chat, that MovieBob has a fucking handicap plaque for... If he has a car. I don't know if he even fucking has a car. If he does, what do you want to bet he has a fucking handicap thing for being a fat ass? Like, because they just give those out to fat fucks now. They just do. Oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a fat piece of shit. Well, let us help you get closer to the fucking cookies you're going to the grocery store to buy.
Instead of the elevator.
Now, look, that's all well and good, but let's face it, we're gamers, and gamers gotta game. Plus, sometimes it's cold, it rains, it's wet, it's snowy, and sometimes you just want to dive right into a big epic title and just soak it up for a few hours.
That's cool. I get that.
Did that not come across in the most hello fellow kids kind of way to you? Or is that just me? Oh yeah, Final Fantasy fucking...
There's a new...
Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, that I hear that was really good, Bob. Gamers gotta get... That makes me want to, like, throw video games out. Like, just all of them. It's like, no, fuck it. MovieBob is the ultimate cautionary tale for any geek.
Final Fantasy, a new God of War, a new Metroid, a new Mario, and maybe even a new Zelda coming this year alone. And when you get them, you want to take a big first bite.
Hey guys, there's nothing wrong with that. But even when we are sitting down to game, there's ways to mitigate the unwanted negative side effects. So let's talk about nutrition.
Yes,
Human
Bob,
body
let's.
requires food, water, and fresh air. And if you don't get those, or you don't get them in the right amount...
Food, water, and fresh air. It said the... Oh, he's even got like a creepy fucking thing. He's talking about food, water, and fresh air while he's morbidly obese in a fucking dank basement.
The various systems can start shutting down or other adverse effects can occur. As gamers, we engage in a largely non-physical activity, and if we don't keep track of these things, it can have serious consequences. Even those of us who are already in pretty good shape would do well to monitor the way that we eat and drink and breathe while gaming in order to maximize our physical potential.
Let's start with position. If you're going to be gaming for an extended period of time, try to sit in a proper chair with good back support. Consult a doctor or other expert to determine what works best for you. As frequently as you're able, pause the game, get up, walk around, maybe do a push-up or a crunch or two just to keep everything chugging. If you're able, open at least one window or find some other way to frequently imbibe fresh air. Now for the food. Nothing goes together like...
Did you know that, Chet? Did you know that fresh air was good? It's a big brain over here. I can tell you that.
Gaming and snacks. And guys, I'm no food Nazi. I love some chips, dips, puffs, rinds, rings, chocolate, mallow. I'm all about junk food. And in moderation, there's nothing wrong with junk food. It's just not great for you. And during a sedentary activity like gaming, it's even worse for you. So while treating yourself to a quarter pounder after a hard day's work is one thing, maybe we ought to rethink offsetting gaming's lack of exercise opportunities by snacking smarter while you're gaming. And I'm not talking about switching from hot pockets to lean pockets, okay? Here's the deal. I'm not here to talk about a diet because...
Bob is not a licensed nutritionist. Before undergoing any significant change to your diet, consult a doctor and or other expert.
I'm talking about basic stuff. Snacking while gaming equals eating while stationary. And that means it's best to avoid foods with high carbohydrates and calories and foods low in nutrition and energy. So as you've already guessed, it might be a good idea to avoid cheese, chips, puffs, candy, dessert pastry, all that kind of stuff as your game food. What's a better idea? Come on, you already know this one. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, yogurt. This ain't exactly some high-end Black Mesa shit, guys, right? You don't need Dr. House to tell you this.
How dare he? just how dare he? I think at one point in this video there's a little disclaimer. It's like, yeah, I know I'm fat ass. You don't have to mention it in the comments. But yeah, I think I do. In fact, yeah, why does this not have more downloads?
Plus, most of these also have the advantage of being easily prepared and made snackable. Cut up some apples, some orange slices, bananas, raisins, grapes. You get the idea. Me, I like some baby carrots. You can buy those by the bagful and they're good.
He likes to dip them in lard and fry them. and then dip them in some ranch. Fucking him and Mike Enoch both. A big old bottle of ranch with it.
Nuts tend to work out pretty well too. Unsalted, of course. You know what's a great one? Almonds. One of the healthiest nuts out there. Very tasty, usually pretty affordable, and best of all, if you get them unshelled, they're clean and have very little natural oil and grit, so you won't be wiping food goo off the controller. Isn't that nice? I mentioned energy before too, right? Well, that brings me back to the next part. Energy drinks are bad for you. They're crazy acidic, which is bad for your tooth enamel and stomach lining. They're designed to fuck with your internal chemistry. It's just a bad scene. High caffeine drinks are mainly made to jumpstart someone after being worn out by hard work or physical exertion.
Which Bob has never known in his life. And indeed hates people who do.
Not because level grinding gets tedious. If gaming is literally sapping your energy, it's time to take one of those breaks we just talked about. So lose the fuel while gaming, and while you're at it, cut down on the sodas and high-sugar juice drinks. Water, OJ, natural fruit juice, much better ideas for a gaming drink. Not only will being nutritionally sound in your choice of game snacks help you physically, but you'll be more alert and focused, which can only help improve your skills.
Bob Chipman is telling you these things, people. I can't get over that. Baby carrots, is that what Bob calls Cheeto Puffs?
That's a win-win. Okay, that covers lifestyle. I hope none of that was all that objectionable, because if it is, the rest of this is really gonna fucking stink. Because now it's time to talk about culture. Now, I'm not going about the intersection of gaming and the rest of the culture. That's a video for another time. I'm talking about the culture of gamers, or lack thereof. Now, guys, I'm one of you, right? We love trivia and obscure games and memorizations, knowing how and why Wonder Boy and Venture Island kept switching games back and forth. That's all good. But if that's all you know, that's not so good. Speaking only for myself as a member of the gamer community, I guess, there's nothing that sucks as much as sitting down and getting into a good conversation with a gamer who seems really sharp and knows everything about some obscure substrata of gaming, and then you mention something from the broader pop culture or some current event, and you know, that's something that everyone should know, and then they look at you and go, huh? I'm going to say this as plainly as possible. It may be fun, it may be impressive in certain circles, in some cases it's even useful, but if video games and the gaming ephemera are all you know, you are a boring person.
Wouldn't want to be a boring person. Fruit juices generally do have just as much sugar as sodas. Same with something like iced tea and all. Basically, I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, don't drink anything other than water. Let's be real. You know, and look, I'm a fat fuck myself, and I drink too much, so I'm not gonna lie to you. But the reality is, people are like, "Oh, I stopped drinking soda. I'm just drinking all this fucking fruit juice." Most fruit juice you get at the grocery store is fucking garbage, and it's mostly sugar, and it's like 10% fucking juice. All right. Blob probably hasn't played games since the year this was made. It's weird. Like, he's such a, like, a quote-unquote Nintendo dork, but, like, somebody was pointing out in a stream I was watching a while back that he actually, like, he didn't know the difference between Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Like, he mentioned one, and he put up the screenshot of another, and somebody called it out on him. He called them, like, samey, boring games or something like that. Like, this man literally just fucking knows Mario. I honestly bet you he wouldn't know a tremendous amount about, like, Zelda. Like, ask him some halfway obscure fucking thing about Zelda, and he wouldn't know. I'm not convinced he even knows that much about fucking Mario. He may only, like mention, like, a character from, like, one of the Mario RPGs or something. Like, not even the one on the Super Nintendo, like Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario or something like that. And he probably wouldn't fucking know what the hell you're talking about. And look, I'm not gonna act like I played all the Mario RPGs. I don't like turn-based combat, so it's generally hard for me to get into them, and it's a shame. They're very charming games in their story and their presentation and all. It's just not something I've never finished, like, the fucking Superstar Saga. Not Superstar Saga. What the hell's the one on the Mario RPG? I'm blanking on the subtitle. The one on the Super Nintendo. I've never finished that one, and everyone raves about it. It's just I don't like the actual gameplay in it. Everything else about it I love. I love the characterizations in it and all. But I legit don't like the gameplay. It's just never going to. So he says OJ is less crap. I'll tell you the juice I drink. I drink a V8 Fusion, which is the vegetable juice combined with the fruit juice. But I'm not going to sit here and be up my own ass like I drink it because I'm a health nut. I drink it because I like it. I legitimately like it. Yeah, it's better for me for soda, but I mean, it's basically the same level of calories. So he says apparently Subway bread is no longer considered bread because it's got too much sugar in it. I wouldn't be surprised. Subway bread is... I get the impression that it's even worse for you than most kinds of bread. So he says turn-based isn't for everyone. I like it once in a while. You know, it's weird. I got super heavily into Final Fantasy Tactics back in the day. I want to say this was like, yeah, it was 03. My roommate at the time had it on the PS1. Or actually, he had a PlayStation 2. And he had that game, and I gave it a shot, and I got sucked into it, like, really hardcore. And I'm not 100% sure why. It just kind of... Part of that might be that I hadn't played games in a while. I hadn't really played a lot of video games in a while, so I don't know. But to this day, that's one of my favorite games. So there are times that, you know, I get over the dislike of turn-based combat. I played some of the Pokemon games before, too. Not as many as you might think, given the whole Bulbasaur motif and all we got on the channel. But generally speaking, just turn-based combat. Like, I tried playing Earthbound before, and I'm just like... There's a really cute and charming game here that I'm just not ever really going to experience, because I just can't get into the gameplay. But that's a personal preference thing. I'm not going to sit here and act like that makes me morally superior or something. Let's see. Somebody says I should try Fire Emblem. I would highly doubt I would enjoy Fire Emblem. Let's see. I don't know, chat. What do we want to watch? I'm getting a little tired of Bob here. I don't know. We might wrap it up here. We've been going on for more than an hour. Tell you what. If you want to call in, message me on the Skype there, and we'll see if anybody wants to call in. And if not, maybe we'll just wrap things up. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and. All right, folks. Like I said, if you want to, I know there's a delay. If you want to call in, message me on the Skypes, the Beckloff, or I guess you can message me on Discord if you're in the Discord. Let's see. If anyone wants in. I didn't catch the VP debate last night, folks. I watched little snippets, but I was working, so just didn't get a chance to catch it. So we'll see. Oh, John Steele wants to call in. Send him a link. I heard Pence did really well against Harris, which doesn't surprise me. Harris is a fucking moron. I mean, she's a blithering idiot. She was never a good debater. She got her shit pushed in all the Democrat debates she was in. Ironically enough, the only time she scored any fucking points, as it were, in any of those Democrat debates is when she made a fool out of Biden. That's the only memorable moment she had. Uh-oh. Hey, John Steele, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Chris? How's your... Oh, by the way, how is the injury that you had been taking those meds for? You said you went to the therapy. Is it working?
Yes, I did physical therapy today. It's I feel better. Like I don't know. It's weird. I feel both worse and better at the same time. Which, you know, I'm sore. I'm a little tired and all, but it does feel like it's helping.
Yeah, I've been through it. You keep it up. It actually does work. I mean, as long as you don't pull something in the process, but yeah, it does work. I just wanted to tell everybody that I think that but to be serious for a second, I think that we should all encourage everybody to sign up for Aaron Clary's course for the low price of $499.99 to learn minimalism.
That sounds. Well, actually, I'm not getting the referral bonus anymore, so I don't care what y'all do.
Okay.
If somebody would have signed up, I'd have gotten $200. So I was like, fuck
he's
it.
going to give you 200, so that's $399. So the real course is $399.
Well, to him it is. I mean, it's that. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I don't think anybody's going to bite. But it's like the Powerball. You can't win if you don't play.
Right. So you could have found.
Once in a while, you buy a ticket. That's all I'm saying.
You could have found some sucker in there to buy it. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, look, Aaron Clary gives great advice and all. I don't know if I don't think a class is worth $500. Personally, I'm not feeling you on that one, Aaron.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Even $100 would have been justifiable. Like, depending on how big the class is and that kind of stuff. But 500, I don't know about that. This better be accredited. Yeah. Like, I better be able to count this as a fucking elective if I'm going to college.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that.
I don't think it is, though.
I got a feeling that certificate will even be more worthless than what he claims a college degree is worth. But that's just me. But so you said you didn't catch any of the debate, or you just caught?
I caught a couple of snippets. Like people, it was over by the time I got home. But as the one guy put it, the fact that. I think it was Styx who mentioned this. Like, he got up and all the left was talking about was that a fly landed on Mike Pence. And it's like, well, if that's all they're talking about, obviously she lost.
Yeah, well, I think that one of the tweets that came across my feed was where someone on MSNBC said it was a tie. So if
which means, that means, yeah, that's like the Black Knight in Monty Python. Like, all right, we'll call it a draw.
So I didn't watch it either because. Quite frankly, I mean this like in the best possible way. Pence bores the shit out of me. I just, he's not an exciting man to watch.
Mike Pence is the ultimate like throwback politician. He is boring. He is straight laced. He looks like Race fucking Bannon. Like he just does. God, he looks like Race. But like if I was making a Johnny Quest movie, I'd be like, can we get Pence on a fucking? Is he willing to act? Like. But yeah, I mean that debate with Biden and Trump. I'm glad I watched that live because I happened to have off that night. And man, that was a show. That was a fucking show. Yeah, that was spectacular. But yeah, I'm not interested. Like, in Pence just making a fool of this fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, actually, it's funny you said that about Pence. He does look like the guy. Like, if there's ever a movie where they have to be some guy who is president in the movie and he's only like on screen for 30 seconds, it's like someone who would look like Pence. You know what I mean? Like some guy that just goes, they say, yes, Mr. President, and they're just showing a guy's face, like, yeah, we'll launch the missiles or whatever.
Yeah, it's the president that Optimus Prime meets with when he's telling him about the Decepticons. Like, it's
that kind of a thing, just. He's not it's like he's an NPC technically in the movie, but yeah, I don't dislike the man. I mean, as far as I know, there's no dirt that's ever come up on him, and I'm sure they looked.
No, he's squeaky clean. He's I'm not convinced Mike Pence has a penis. He is as squeaky clean as they come. If this man's ever done more than missionary sex with the lights off with his wife, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, not the most exciting man in the world. He's not the kind of guy. He's in many ways he's literally the antithesis of Trump.
Oh
like
yeah,
personality, not politics, personality wise. He's not flamboyant. I don't know if he even has a Twitter account. I couldn't see him trolling the fuck out of people when he becomes president. I just, pretty wild if he ever does one day, you know, like just saying like, yeah, it'd be really funny if like the next day after the Harris debate, he goes, yeah, I beat that bitch up or something.
Like, that sounds like a great movie, like some Freaky Friday shit where Pence and Trump switch bodies, but they have to pretend like it's just like, for no reason, Mike Pence is like, yeah, whatever, you fucking loser.
Yeah, he just... What did Trump say about it? He just tweeted today calling Nancy Pelosi like a psycho, a crazy, or something like that. The crazy lady, he called her.
Oh, man.
You gotta love Trump's tweet. I mean, even if you can hate Trump, but or just be neutral towards him, I guess you can just get a kick out of his tweets.
Trump's a lot of fun on the old Twitter machine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you must, even though you don't have an active account on there, you must go on there just to, you don't need an account just to view tweets, you know, just,
I mean, that debate, man, when he was all like, my son was in the military, he's like, are you talking about Hunter, the fucking loser who got thrown out? Like, just... Mr. President, your time is up. Shut up, Chris. Fucking fag.
Yeah,
you like to boss me.
That dildo went up Hunter's ass. That was huge. Which I saw
the biggest deal. People say it's tremendous. Everyone tells me.
Oh, did you see that Richard Spencer story of endorsing Biden got picked up by, what was it, the Daily Mirror or the Daily Mail, whatever that English paper is?
I watched some of the debate he did with Styx, and I mean, Styx, you know, look, I mean, Styx is some of his other stuff's a little cringy, but I do like him on politics, and I mean, he just made a fool because Spencer is controlled up. Spencer at this point, I'm convinced, is entirely just, you know, purely deep state asset. And, like, you're not sending your best. Like, it would be somewhat believable if he told people to vote for Biden for accelerationist reasons or something. But he's like, yeah, no, I'm all about white identity. Vote for Biden. Vote for fucking Harris's puppet. Like, yeah, that's great. They're more competent people. He's literally got dementia.
Yeah, actually.
He's like, yeah, they're more competent people. Are you out of your mind? Like, Harris only has her job because she sucked a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, she was pretty shameless about it, too.
I'm surprised she didn't. If the moderator would have been a guy, she'd be like, I'll suck your dick. So he, like...
She probably offered. Well, maybe she did. You know, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's right. It was a woman, so, you know, the feminine penis. But yeah, I one thing about Pence was even funny though, like just the little parts of the debate I did watch was even when he talked over the moderator, he did it in such a way that wasn't rude somehow.
He also took a lot of pot shots. Like he said something like, you know, your plan is basically plagiarized from our plan, but plagiarism is something Joe Biden knows a lot about. He's like, you're entitled to your own. He's so dismissive of her. But she just so had it coming. Like, she's just so unlikable. I'm sorry, there's no way. If you're sitting here telling me how you like and admire and respect Pamela, or what the fuck, Kamala Harris. I keep wanting to say Pamela, because that's a real name. I'm like, what the fuck she's named. I want to be like, no, you don't. All right, stop lying to me. All right, you just full of shit. You obviously don't. Look, I can respect voting for somebody because you just really hate the other guy. I've been there. But, you know, as I've said on here before, I voted for John Kerry in 2004. I voted for Mitt Romney in 2012. I did not like either one of those guys, and I was not walking around acting like I did. I wasn't walking around in 2004 like, yeah, I really respect and admire John Kerry. No, I was like, fuck Bush. I hope he dies. like fucking retarded war criminal. He should be lined up against the wall. Like, that was my... So I'm going to vote for the other guy because he can suck a dick. Like, that was... I wasn't like, yo, John Kerry, I admire his service right. No, I don't. I don't admire anything about him. He's a piece of shit, too. I just want the other guy to be out of a job. So right, if you hate Trump, just come up to me and be like, yeah, I fucking hate Trump, so I'm going to vote for this creepy fucking Uncle Touchy over here. Just out of spite. And I'd be like, okay, I can understand that. Like,
Well, actually, I'm kind of surprised that they did pick Kamala because she had that was one of her problems was she's very unlike like the only person that was running that was less likable than her was Elizabeth Warren, who is, I mean, she is, I think her own family hates her. I mean, I just,
Has she been thrown out of the tribe?
She's, yeah, I mean,
she was thrown off the reservation.
She's literally like nails on a chalkboard bed,
Well, they had a pretty fucking pitiful, field of candidates, and they still managed to damn near find the worst of the bunch. But
yeah, but they still could have done something like, I'm always thinking like maybe if they could have pulled someone from the military, so they couldn't have said like, oh, he doesn't have any leadership experience or something. Like Trump was going to do that with Pence. Like there was a last minute thing. Apparently, Trump was looking at some admiral or general, I forget which. Anyway, but they went with Pence, which is fine. But I mean, the Democrats, you think they could have found some liberal.
Well, they basically had to pick a diversity hire for the VP slot at least. I mean,
yeah, I guess there was
Biden boxed himself into a corner with it's going to be proud Latinx or whatever the fuck he said. He wanted to ask Irini's new co-host to be VP, but she unfortunately is Canadian.
Well, what? She's Jamaican and Indian, like dots not feathers, right? Is that her?
She is a quarter black, from what I understand, and the rest is red dot Indian.
Oh, okay. So she's not even really full. All right. So she
7-Eleven Indian.
7-Eleven.
Red dot, not woo woo, as I like to say.
Red dot, no, yeah, I just dots not feather, yeah, whatever. All right, yeah, I was unsure of her. I just say mystery meat. That's what I call these people.
I disavow. We're all about tolerance here.
Yeah, well, I mean that doesn't mean you're against it. I mean it's like those Lunchables when you were a kid. You don't know what the fuck you're eating. I mean. Mystery meat, it's like what you get at Subway with the same with their bread. You don't know what it is.
I mean, sometimes I often find mulatto chicks can be very hot. I don't know. It's a lot of mulatto chicks just really win the fucking genetic lottery and kind of get the best of both worlds.
Well, there's only one chick that is mulatto that actually she's old now, but I haven't seen her like lately. But the chick she first did the movie Flashdance. Oh, I can't remember what her name is.
I can picture her, but I can't name her either.
She was gorgeous.
What about Mariah Carey? She's mulatto. Think of fucking 90s really Mariah Carey.
No, because she looked like she had like light skin but the black features.
I don't know, man. I'd still fuck Mariah Carey. I'll be honest with you. Like she's old and fat, and I still would. But she's crazy though. She's crazy. You'd pay for it, but.
Yeah, well, what was the other chick though? She was very dark, but she had like white features. She was mulatto. She
Halle
was
Berry.
Halle Berry, that's the one.
Yeah, I'd fuck Halle Berry too. At least back in the day. It's just, man.
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like now, but
boy, she was a terrible actress.
Yeah, I just remember she did the.
But on the plus side though, you'd know if she faked an orgasm, because she's a terrible actress.
There you go. Yeah.
So you'd know. You'd be like, you're not fooling me. All right, you'd know.
If it was Meryl Streep, you'd never know.
Yep.
But quickly, speaking of acting in movies, have you seen the trailer for Mel Gibson's new film?
I did not. I didn't even know he had a new film.
Yeah, he has a new film where I'm not. What I think it is that he's playing Santa Claus, and a kid puts a hit out on him.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I saw a trailer for? It was actually an ad in front of a video, and it caught my attention right away. I ended up watching the whole fucking trailer. It was one of those skippable ads, you know what I mean? Where, like, you could skip it, but it actually caught my attention. I ended up watching the whole thing. There's a movie coming out called Freaky, and it's Vince Vaughn plays a serial killer in it, right? It's like a horror movie, but it's kind of a horror comedy, because something happens, I don't know, some magical bullshit happens where this teenage girl that he's trying to kill, her and him switch bodies. So now Vince Vaughn is actually, like, the killer is in the girl's body, and the girl is in the killer's body. And so it's like this kind of horror comedy thing. And, like, go watch the trailer for Freaky. It looks great. I'm like, man, I want to go see that. I love Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn's fucking awesome.
Well,
Like-
he's hit or but you got to look at his career. He's been so hit or miss.
Well, he's been in a lot of bad movies, but
Yeah.
he's never bad in them. I find worst case scenario, Vince Vaughn is the best part of a bad movie.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I'll grant you he's been in some bad movies, but they're not bad because of him. You know what I mean? And I actually kind of really admire that in an actor. I like when an actor is clearly trying in a movie they know is a piece of shit. Like, they just go on the set each day, they're like, well, it's not going to suck because of me.
Well, I like it when he stuck with the comedy roles, and then like he tried to do drama and stuff like that. Like when they put him in, I don't know if you ever saw it, but like True Detective season 2, that he was totally miscast for that. And I had so many people had such high expectations for that. And then he did that weird movie with John Travolta where I forget who he married. Where
I really don't think I've seen those, to be honest. Most of what I've seen with him is comedies.
Yeah,
like, I think of Vince Vaughn.
That's
I think
why you
of
have a high opinion, because you only saw him in the comedies.
I think of and even this Freaky, it's like a hard, he's technically playing the serial killer, right? But for most of the movie, he's playing a teenage girl in his body. You know what I mean? So the girl's actually playing the killer, and the girl's actually got the quote unquote dramatic role most of the time. You know what I mean? He's got the comedic role of playing a teenage girl trapped in a middle-aged man's body, which, I mean, these days that's considered a fucking preference. But, most of us who are still sane consider that as something that's ridiculous and funny.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, I always think of him in fucking Wedding Crashers. That movie's fucking great.
Well, the first movie he made that made him was Swingers.
Swingers was good, yeah. I still remember him going on about fucking NHL 93 or whatever, when he's talking about, I made Wayne Gretzky bleed. Look, you can make him bleed.
Oh, yeah, Mikey, make him bleed, make him bleed. Oh, when the guy was delivering the pizza, he goes, Mikey, is he clean? Is he clean? If he's clean, invite him in. Is he cute? Is he cute? And that was a great movie for any of those people who haven't seen, because it's old. It's like mid-90s, but it was fun. Actually, that movie kind of reminded me of my friends at the time. We kind of were like those guys.
Yeah, what else? I think he Dodgeball. Dodgeball's another good one with him.
Dodgeball, Wedding Crashers, Dodgeball. Like I said, when he sticks to comedy, it works. When he goes out, he tries to be a dramatic actor. What movies did he do serious movies that were any good? Can you think of one?
Oh, I really couldn't.
So
I can
he's
think
been
of
around forever.
I want to say I can think, and I'm kind of blanking on it, but I picture him in dramatic movies with some supporting role where he's kind of a comic relief. I know I've seen a few of those, but I couldn't really picture him doing anything other than his fast talking, funny spiel.
Yeah, what was the movie? I never saw it, but he did a comedy movie with Jennifer Aniston. I never saw the movie.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to say it was called The Breakup, but they were I can't remember if they were married or not, but they were living together. They were a couple, and they break up, and it's this big dramatic. It was mostly for laughs, but there's no the movie's almost really depressing because it's they just stay broken up, and then it's their lives are fucking torn apart from this breakup. The end. It's one of those things where it's this kind of, it almost seems like a romantic comedy, and you expect it to have that cliched, okay, they get back together, but then it's they just don't, and the movie's fuck you, the end. And it's wow, that's, I didn't like that there movie.
Yeah, because it didn't do well, but the clips I saw from it
starts off fucking hilarious, but it slowly just gets depressing. It's just until the very end where it's okay, well, love is dead. All right, fuck you. It's just
well, I don't know if you know this, but they became a couple filming that movie.
Oh well, good for him. Jennifer Aniston's quite the piece.
But like all her relationships, apparently it didn't last.
I tell you, I don't know what it is with her. I mean, she's still great looking, and she's 50. Yeah,
she's 51.
She held up better than Angelina, that's for sure. I bet Brad wishes he hadn't jumped ship. He thought he was going to get the fun, crazy 90s Angelina Jolie. No. You got the busted, worn out, adopt a bunch of African kids Angelina Jolie. You got the worst fucking deal there.
If you want to see Angelina Jolie, when she was, I didn't know who she was back then. I don't know if it was her first movie or something, but there's an old movie from the early mid 90s called Hackers.
Is that the
And
one she's getting all kinds of naked in?
I'm not sure if there was a full-on nude scene in it, but she is like she's really young in it, and I was like, who is she? Looked like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life, and then years later you see her and you're like, what happened to you?
She was still smoking right up until I want to say Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that movie she did with Brad Pitt, which is a really good movie, very underrated. A lot of people just it's just romantic, but no, it's actually a pretty solid action flick. It's a good comedy flick. It's a good popcorn flick. But that is probably the last time I remember seeing her where I was like, yeah, I'd get on that.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Something about getting with Brad just. Oh boy, I don't know. Brad was apparently the wall she hit.
Well, no, because what's her name was married to Brad, and she's still holding up good. She's like the female.
I think maybe Jennifer Aniston's a witch, and when her man got stolen, she just put the Shimi curse on fucking Angelina Jolie.
There you go. That could be it. She's got a voodoo doll or something where she dipped it in acid, and that
She's been putting it in the microwave each day, every day.
Yeah, I mean, she even took away her breasts.
That's right, Chet. Yeah, Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun, and she does not want you to know that. It's funny too. That movie came out on tape. Yes, back in my day, we had tapes, Chad. But that movie came out on tape right as Friends had become a big hit. She did that movie right before Friends. It came out the summer before that show premiered. Shows used to premiere in the fall and shit. And then Friends was an instant hit. And Angelina Jolie Jennifer Aniston was a huge star then. Well, when Leprechaun came out on tape, they reworked the movie poster and put Jennifer Aniston fucking front and center on that movie poster. It's a picture of Jennifer Aniston.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a picture of Jennifer Aniston with a fucking leprechaun in the background. That's the fucking movie poster now, And she was not happy about that.
Yeah, because her career. I mean, yeah, they pretty much all the people in that. There was 6 of them, right? Yeah, they were all young, right? They were all in their, except for what's her name, Kudrow. She was older. But they were all young, and that TV show just made them all superstars.
Oh yeah, they became instant stars. Kudrow had actually done a recurring character in Mad About You before that.
Yeah, the waitress,
which they had actually later. I know more about television trivia than I care to admit, but they later actually put those shows in continuity with one another and put that show. That character became Kudrow's character's twin. The character from Mad About You was what was Kudrow's character in Friends? Well, I can't think of her name.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't either. But they put the shows in. They used to do that a lot on TV. Shows are just randomly in continuity with one another.
Well, they would have what they call crossover characters. No, I remember that episode because I think Joey dated her or something like that.
Yeah, because there's an episode where some of the people from Mad About You come into the coffee house where they're all at, and they mistake Lisa Kudrow's character for her twin sister. That was back when they used to do the thing where they'd have the actors on screen twice, and you could still sometimes sort of see the line in the middle of the fucking screen where they had sewn the two fucking images together, basically.
Yeah, before all the high-tech shit. But, Friends was funny for the first couple of seasons.
I liked Joey and Chandler in it when it first started. Those two were very, very funny. Those two, hanging out in their apartment. Those scenes were hilarious to me. The rest of the show, was a slog to get through.
I got some bad news for you. Have you seen Chandler, what he looks like today?
I don't know.
There's a picture of him went viral. Go Google...
Did you know he did a remake of The Odd Couple a couple years ago with the guy who played Lieutenant Dangle on Reno 911?
No, I never saw that.
And Chandler was the slob guy who was a sports writer. I can't remember the names of Felix and Oscar, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah, Felix and Oscar.
But he played the slob character. Chandler played a slob character, and it was actually really good. The Odd Couple's a solid fucking premise. You could remake that show a million times as long as you have two good comedic actors. It'll work.
I used to love that.
Such a solid premise.
I used to love the original with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. When I was a kid, they used to play the reruns of it.
Yeah, I remember the movies with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. They were really good.
Yeah, it was actually a Broadway play.
Yeah, it was like a play, and then it became like was it a movie or TV show first? I think
It was a television. It was a movie. It was a play by Neil Simon on Broadway, and then they made it into a movie with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, and then they turned it into a TV series with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall.
That's right.
And that's. But I'm trying to find the.
But yeah, the recent. I think it didn't do well, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think it just. I don't know. I think a lot of it was kind of coming out when TV was sort of been on the wane, network TV. So I think a lot of people just didn't know it existed. But I stumbled across it and thought it was fucking hilarious. The one with Chandler, Matthew Perry.
Well, was it? What was I going to ask? Was it on like a regular like ABC?
It was
NBC
on CBS, I believe.
Okay, so okay. Let me see if I can find that. There was just a picture of him where he looked like death.
I'm sure he isn't really working right now, so I'm sure he's probably getting all fat and shit. Plus, he's got to be no spring chicken at this point.
Yeah, he's the same age as Jennifer Aniston, but he had.
Well, yeah, but Jennifer Aniston's slowly sucking the life force out of Angelina Jolie. And
yeah,
keeping her young.
Yeah, that's keeping her young. Well, he had a drug problem, so I don't know if he slipped back into it. So
he was the most talented comedic actor out of the bunch, in my opinion. It's a shame his career didn't go more places. I've never not liked him in things. Like there's been things he's done, don't get me wrong, that I've seen that I think are shit. Like he did some movie with like Selma Hayek or something that was fucking garbage. But he's funny in it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Well, he also made the mistake of he did a television series that I think it only lasted one season after Friends, where it was like a serious thing. Where he played like a writer for I don't know, a television series. I think Sorkin, the same guy that was behind The West Wing, was the creator of it. And it just totally sucked. That was his problem. He tried to if you're a comedic actor, you're a comedic actor. Accept it. Don't try to. It's kind of like when guys like Sylvester Stallone try to do comedy. It doesn't work.
Yeah, he was a tremendous comedic actor. He just had absolutely fantastic delivery of shit.
Yeah, he was all about timing. He just had it, and he was really good. And you're right. The other act, the guy Matthew LeBlanc, the guy who played Joey on the show, he was basically just playing himself.
Well, they had that classic comedic pair of the dumb guy and the smart sarcastic guy. You know what I mean? That's never not funny if you have two good comedic actors doing it well. That's just I think to like Chris Farley and David Spade, shit like that. Like that just always is fucking funny.
Yeah.
When you have some guy who's a sarcastic asshole who's just roasting his dumb buddy and his dumb buddy doesn't even know, like that's just fucking hilarious. There's some bit I remember in Friends where like Matthew Perry, Chandler, I guess is the character's name. He's in like his room. He's like laying on his bed. I think he might have been sleeping or something. And then a fucking electric drill comes through the wall, like 3 inches, like from his fucking face. You know what I mean? His fucking drill bit. Like, and you just see his eyes widen and tear. And then he like jumps up and he's screaming. And Joey's in the other room doing some sort of dumb fucking home repair shit. And he's like, "What the hell, man?" And Joey's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get you?" And he goes, "No, you idiot. It's an electric drill. If you get me, you kill me."
I remember that. He's like, "Did I get you?"
This giant fucking drill bit coming through the wall and shit.
Yeah, can you imagine having that moron as a roommate? No, there was some great episodes of that show.
And they would like watch Baywatch together because that was the thing. We didn't have internet porn back then, so everybody watched Baywatch.
Yeah, they used to just leave it on constantly. So, what's it about? I have no idea.
Who cares?
They were just watching it, just staring. They watch it with the sound off.
Just staring intently at it. And they had two matching like Lazy Boy recliners, and that was like the only furniture in their living room. Like that in front of the TV. It was just nothing else. Nowhere for anyone else to sit.
And it was funny one time, like the door opens and like Monica's holding the pizza and she's like, "Stop ordering the pizza to my apartment," because she didn't want to get out of the chairs. So
I remember that. I remember when Monica was helping Chandler get in shape, right? And he's doing like sit-ups and all, and she's like, "Come on, 5 more." And he's like, I can't, I'm out. And she goes, "Do 5 more and I'll flash you." And then he's like, "All right, 1." He starts doing them, and he goes 2, and he's like struggling to do it. He's like 2.5, and then he's like laying down. He's like, "All right, just show me 1."
Oh, hold on a second. I don't know if you can share screen on this, but I gotta send you this.
Oh, let's see.
Give me 1 second. Hold on. This is not pretty, bro. Not actually. This makes me feel bad because I kind of liked Matthew Perry, but all right, just came through now.
Ooh, damn! Hang on a second.
I don't know if you can share that with you.
Emerges from lockdown. Yeah, it looks like he's been having some quarantine snacks. Let's see. Go ahead and Windows capture this real quick. Yeah, Chad, he's not looking good these days.
Yeah, it makes me because I think I kind of like the guy. I mean, you know, he seemed like he was a decent bloke. He didn't seem like he was full of himself.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's probably raping kids or something like half of Hollywood. Somebody says, just announced they're doing a West Wing reunion in time for the election. Of course they are. But nobody cares. Somebody says, does anybody remember Norm Macdonald's sitcom? I don't, because I never got a chance to watch it. But what I do remember is I remember him promoting it on The View. This was great. That's when he went on The View, and he was supposed to do some bit, but he refused to do it. So he just goes on about how, because Bill Clinton was still in office. I think W had just been elected. Maybe he just came into office. I can't remember. But he was like, yeah, Bill Clinton was a murderer. And everyone's like, dude, you can't be saying.
He goes, I thought everybody knew that.
I thought we all knew that. What? President's a murderer.
Yeah, he's like radioactive. Like people just never know what the fuck to come out of his mouth.
Oh God, he just
so.
You
don't know if you got that guy live. He's just
when he was at the roast, he was at one of the Comedy Central roasts, and he refused to acknowledge anybody talking about him. He's sitting there reading the paper. Yeah. And somebody was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted something funnier than you, so I'm looking at Marmaduke."
Yeah. That's the one where he got up and read those really the word jokes.
Yeah, he read a book of dad jokes or something.
Yeah, knock knock almost. I mean, just really bad.
Didn't give a fuck.
And who was that guy he was roasting? Was that the guy from the family? I don't know.
It might have been the Bob Saget one. I can't remember. Yeah. A lot of them blurred together. Those roasts were amazing too. Back in the 2000s when they were doing those were just. And it's, Comedy Central used to put them on late night Sunday, so if you had to get to work in the morning or something, it's and the commercial breaks were just fucking brutal throughout it. I swear to God, you got 5 minutes of show and 10 minutes of commercial. But they were amazing. God, those roasts were so good. Even comedians I generally didn't like would be bringing their A game so much that they were making me laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they were some of those. One of the reasons that Norm Macdonald, because he had a YouTube channel where he did interviews or something, and they asked him about that roast, the jokes, people saying he goes, "We didn't get it." He goes, "Well, there was nothing to get." He just said he has this kind of deadpan way about him, and he was just I don't like that kind of humor, so I just thought I'd fuck with it. He just he didn't like that kind of, I don't know, getting up there and insulting people for whatever reason, even though he and didn't he get fired from SNL because he kept making fun of one of the producers or something?
I can't remember, but I remember I think it was right around the time of his sitcom coming out. He ended up hosting SNL the one night, right? And this would have been probably 2000, 2001, something like that. And he had been fired in 98-ish, I want to say. Right. Maybe 97. And he gets up there, and you could kind of tell that this was not the approved monologue, which is always the case with him. Just when he hands you a monologue, he's going to do it. It's you don't know what he's going to do, but he ain't going to do that.
Right.
And he gets up there and he's like, it's weird hosting this show because a few years ago they fired me and they told me it was because I wasn't funny enough. But now they wanted me to host it. And I thought to myself, wait, did I get way more funny or did the show get worse? He goes, it's the latter. He goes like, there's this one guy and he's like shaking his head. He goes, well, you'll see. Like, he's so fucking man, like watch clips of him on like Conan and stuff when he wreck other people's interviews or like
oh yeah, he's done that a bunch of times. Yeah.
Or like his fucking Weekend Update. He was the best Weekend Update host that show ever had and probably ever will because mainstream comedy is dead now. But yeah, he was by far you could maybe make a case that Chevy Chase was as good as Norm Macdonald. But even that, I would say Norm Macdonald was better.
Well, Chevy Chase, you could give it to him for one. Chevy Chase was, most people don't know this, he was only on SNL for one season.
Yeah, that's right.
And he invented it.
I think he was the first Weekend Update host. Yeah.
Yes. That was because the whole thing about that show was a lot of the writers and the actors were all mushed together. Still to this day, I mean, well, I don't know about now, but I mean, up until very recently, that was the whole thing about SNL was the writers wrote the skits. I mean, the actors wrote the skits. I mean, they had staff writers as well, but in the 70s, during that first season, they didn't have any budget. They had nothing.
As John Belushi once said, women aren't funny. The only reason we have women on the show is because we need women to play women in sketches.
Yeah.
He would not do a sketch if a woman wrote it. Like when women wrote sketches, because there were some legitimately funny women on that show early on, but they'd have to put like a dude's name on the sketch or he wouldn't even read it. He's such an asshole. You couldn't get away with that now. He's just like, no, fuck you. I'm not reading your sketch. Suck my dick.
Chevy Chase said that about Jane Curtin. Like he was like Chevy Chase probably a bad rap.
Chevy Chase is one of the worst fucking people to work with in Hollywood, by all accounts. Like he has destroyed projects. He has fucked with. Like, if you ever seen that movie Nothing But Trouble that Dan Aykroyd directed, it was like, Chevy Chase plays somebody that gets like, he has to go before some judge in like some rural area, and the judge is some crazy fucking weird cannibal or something. It's an interesting movie. It's very flawed in a lot of ways because it just the production. It was Dan Aykroyd's first attempt at directing, and he was in over his head. But a big problem with it was Chevy Chase just fucking. At some point in the show, in the movie, decided he didn't want to do it and was just barely cooperative, and would like chew Dan Aykroyd out like "fuck you." Chevy Chase is by all accounts just a terrible fucking. Yeah, supposedly Bill Murray actually like punched Chevy Chase in the face once, and Bill Murray is supposedly one of the easiest people to work with in Hollywood.
Yeah, they did. There was an incident about that, and that was one time. Apparently, Bill Murray was the one that started it. And it was said it was because they were all pissed the way that Chevy Chase left them, like after the first season, and like there was some history about that. And I think Bill Murray did start a fight with him. I mean, they were young back then. That's going back to like 1976 or something. And it went to fisticuffs or whatever. And I think Bill Murray punched him in the face.
Yeah, Chevy. But Chase is supposedly one of the worst people I work with in Hollywood. Like a lot of people have said that.
Well, did you see his roast where the old Saturday Night Live people got to roast him?
I saw most of those, but again, it's been so long they all kind of blur together.
Well, they had people like you totally forgot existed, like Lorraine Newman.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember her? And she was like reading from her diary from the 70s, and she's like, well, this was like a first day on the set. Everybody's been nice to me. But Chevy Chase pulled me inside and said, Lorraine, the Holocaust is a story made up by the Jews just so they could take it.
I do remember that.
It was just and she would just like read like these made up diary entries, and it was actually really funny.
I watched something. There's a channel called Top Hat Entertainment, and he covers a lot of comedy stuff. A lot of like he's done stuff on like the life of Chris Farley and thing like that, and stuff like that, or the life of John Candy, that kind of thing. he did something on Chevy Chase's like failed late night talk show that he had in like '93.
Oh yeah, the one season. There was a bunch of guys.
It wasn't even a season. It was a month. It was on the air for a month. It was Fox's. It might have been their first attempt at late night. I can't remember. I think they did the Arsenio Hall show before that.
But there was like 50 of them though that all failed. Like what's his name? Dennis Miller had one that failed. They had. I mean, there was a whole shitload of them.
There was like this blood in the water when Carson left. Leno had took over, and then Letterman went to CBS, and there wasn't really a clear winner like there had used to be. Like it used to be like Carson was the late night host for America, and Leno and Letterman were very neck and neck in the ratings and in critical acclaim and that sort of thing, and there wasn't really a clear winner, and Fox was a relatively young network, that kind of thing, and there was a lot of upstarts. There were ABC didn't really have their hat in the ring for late night, so a lot of other people were like, hey, maybe there's a chance to be the new king of the hill. Maybe it's up for grabs. Man, I have a fucking cricket in this room, and I don't know where he is. Every once in a while, I hear him go off. It's just like, God damn it.
I hope you're not sleeping in that room when you go insane. But
no, this is downstairs, thankfully. But like, oh man, I want to, because I know like I don't want him in here. I want to, either squish him or catch him or put him outside or something. I don't want him in here making noise.
You can never find them though. That's the whole thing about them driving you crazy. The reason
the dog's gonna eat them at some point. Yak them up.
But the last thing about Chase, I'm trying to remember what the. So his only lasted a month just because the ratings were so bad, or he was such an asshole?
The ratings were very, very bad, and they put a lot of money into it too. Again, it's a really interesting thing to watch the behind the scenes stuff on it, because it was a fucking disaster. Like, I could see something with, like, I could have seen Chevy Chase having a show that really, really worked, but they had no idea where to take the show. There were so many executives pulling it in different directions. It was a very, very weird disaster.
Well, and also they were up against Letterman and Leno, right? So...
Yeah, but again, like, there were strong ratings the first night. There was a lot of buzz behind it, and it was one of those things where the ratings were very, very strong and respectable, and then just dropped like a stone. Like, episode 2 is just nobody tuned into.
Well, Buddy Smith says something here in the chat. He says, look up the potato chip commercial where it parodied Chevy Chase's talk show. Do you know anything about that?
I think I vaguely remember that. Yeah, he also says the Ghostbusters comic, the recent one, had a rival Ghostbusters team, and yes, the leader of it is based on Chevy Chase. It looks like a young Chevy Chase, and it has this deep bit of rivalry with the Bill Murray character in it. It's amazing. The Ghostbusters comic is full of so many nods to those actors and shit like that. Dan Aykroyd's character has a spirit guide that looks just like John Belushi from Blues Brothers.
Okay.
There's storylines that involve like parallel universes, and they talk about like sometimes people in parallel universes who aren't you look just like you. And they said like, yeah, we went to one universe where a guy who looked just like Venkman was arrested for blowing up a golf course. Yeah, that kind of stuff is just great. They just throw that out there.
That was the thing I went to. You heard about Rick Moranis getting punched out in New York City?
Yeah, supposedly somebody tried to mug him.
No, I think it was the knockout game.
Oh, yeah, that would explain why they go, it was a mugging. They always say it was a mugging.
Well, yeah, because they're not going to say, it was just a black guy who was randomly hitting old white men. And because he's old now, right?
He's got to be. I mean, good Lord, he wasn't a spring chicken when I was young, and I'm getting old.
Well, because Ghostbusters came out in 1984, right? So that's like
84. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a long time ago. So I don't know how old he was in it, but yeah, he's and he's been retired for years. So whatever. So apparently he was just walking down the street in Manhattan, and they got a picture of the suspect. Of course, he's high melanin, and
he's a Kang.
He's a Kang and shit. But they don't have a picture of the actual assault. Like, there was no camera where he actually hit him. And I don't know.
It turned out, actually, Rick Moranis hit him. That's the plot twist.
Is that the plot twist?
Rick Moranis actually beat this motherfucker up and is now going to get him arrested. Because it turns out Rick Moranis is an evil genius.
I remember when I was a kid and I watched Ghostbusters like in the theaters when I was young, and I remember like feeling bad for him because like no matter what he did, like the evil dog, wouldn't stop. I mean, he would go after him no matter what. Like, I mean, it was like, come on, like leave me alone. It was just,
I love in Ghostbusters too when he's like, guys, I got my law degree at a night school. He's like, that's cool. We were arrested at night.
And and he was like the world's worst lawyer when they were on. Yeah. What he goes that he goes, should I say more? And Bill says, no, I think you've done enough damage. That's it.
There's that line where he's like, my clients are under a judicial restrictions order. That blue thing I got from her. That judicial restrictions order. That's still so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, you always remember the redeemable parts of Ghostbusters 2.
That whole courtroom scene, as far as I'm concerned, that alone is worth it. From beginning to end, the courtroom scene is amazing.
You hold that in much higher regard than other people do. But
the Scoleri brothers. These are friends of yours? I tried him for murder. I gave him the chair. Why don't you try telling him you don't believe in ghosts?
Yeah. I always liked, one of my favorite scenes in the courtroom was when the female prosecutor, when Bill Murray's on the stand, the female prosecutor, Bill Murray touches her head. He goes, listen, kitten. She just pulls her head.
Kitten, I think what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you mind telling the court why you dug a hole at First Avenue? He's like, well, we figured there were so many holes in First Avenue, nobody had noticed.
Which, if you lived in New York in the 1980s, you'd get that.
Should I ask any more questions? No, I think you've done enough damage. I love in Ghostbusters 1 when they're all arrested and all, and like Winston says to him, he's like, so you're going to go in front of a federal judge and tell him that a moldy Babylonian god intends to tear up the city? And he's like, guys, no offense, but I want my own lawyer.
Yeah. Oh, Winston, when he was talking to the mayor, he goes, I've seen things that would turn you white.
He's like, I wasn't even there. Oh, boy.
Oh, the classics. Oh, no one else wanted to hop in?
I guess not. I guess we'll wrap this up. Some other stuff I gotta.
By the way, it wasn't until your last episode I realized the chick with the hat laying on her stomach was Ben Shapiro's sister.
With the gun in front of her.
I didn't know that was her because there was that nude cam model for a while. We thought was her, or
those are some big old kosher milkers. That's for sure.
Those are kosher milkers. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, chat. If you enjoy the show, you're watching this later, you can send a donation at streamlabs.com/TheBeckloff. I'll read it when I am live, even if you send a donation when I'm not live. And paypal.me/TheBeckloff. And, yeah, you can also sign up for Aaron Clary's class if you want to. I don't think my referral link still works, though. But, yeah, it's that. Or you just send me $500. If you can just send me $500.
I'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's it. I'll teach you how.
I will send it to John Steele, care of the Beckloff, and I'll give you a one-on-one Skype call.
Folks,
all right.
Instead of for $500, I am willing to teach you minimalism for a mere $450. And right away, by picking me over Aaron, you're already showing good minimalism skills.
That's right. You're showing good minimalism.
I'll
tell you what, if you send $450, you get John Steele and Chris Beckloff, 2 for the price of one.
That's right, Bulbanomics.